Dear students, welcome to the next lecture in analog electronics. This is lecture number 4 and we have already discussed review of BJT configuration and its characteristics. Then we have gone through the circuit diagram of a basic common emitter amplifier, the operating point concept, why we need to bias a transistor, the selection of operating point, how to fix the operating point, need for bias stabilization, and what are the requirements of a biasing circuit. And based on these requirements, we have analyzed the fixed bias circuit and collector to base bias circuit. We have also seen the relative advantages and disadvantages associated with these biasing circuits. And as I said, we are going to look for a better biasing circuit, which we can treat as a general biasing arrangement for a transistor amplifier in common emitter configuration. Now in this lecture we are going to discuss bias circuit with emitter resistor or emitter feedback bias and voltage divider bias. So this is the circuit diagram of a bias circuit with emitter resistor. Here you can see it is a fixed bias circuit with a resistance Re added in the emitter circuit. That is the only difference when compared with a fixed bias circuit. You have the resistance Rb, Rc, along with that you have a resistor Re connected in the emitter circuit of the amplifier. Now what happens with this arrangement when temperature increases? What will happen to the operating point, or what will happen to IC and VCE? Okay, we have to fix the operating point. So this operating point coordinates are IC and VCE. Now here you can see the loop equation for the input section, that is to the base emitter side. You see VCC equal to IBRB plus VBE plus IERE. It is evident from this diagram. VCC equal to IB is a current here, IBRB plus VBE plus IERE. From that you will get an expression for IB, which is VCC minus IERE minus VBE by RB. Since VBE is very small, you can neglect it, and the final expression for IB is VCC minus IERE by RB. Now what happens when temperature increase? You can see the leakage current ICBO will increase as temperature increases, and ICEO will increase, and this will cause an increase in the collector current. So when collector current increases, obviously emitter current will also increase, isn't it? IE is equal to IB plus IC. Now as IE increases, you see this IERE drop also will increase. When IERE drop increases, from this expression you can see IB will tend to decrease, and since IB decreases, this IC will again show a tendency to decrease, or it will remain in the stable region or close to the value operating point which you have fixed for that particular base current. Okay, now this here you can see that collector current is not allowed to increase to the extent it would have been in the absence of resistance Re. Now what happens when the transistor is replaced by another of the same type, or when beta is changed? That is, you are replacing the transistor with a different value of beta. Then also you can see if beta is increasing, IC will increase, and this increase in IC will cause an increase in IE. You can see that here the same increase in IERE drop will cause a decrease in IB or base current, and ultimately this will cause a decrease in the collector current, and bringing back that rising tendency of collector current is again checked here. Okay, so if these issues are resolved, then we can fix the Q point for emitter feedback bias circuit. How to fix the Q point? You have an expression VCC equal to IBRB plus VBE plus beta plus 1 IBRE. You are replacing IE with beta plus 1 IB. Now IB, you have got an expression like this in terms of beta. or you can approximate this as VCC by RB plus beta RE. Since beta is very much greater than 1, you can approximate this as beta RE. This beta plus 1 RE is beta RE, and VBE, after neglecting VBE, you can get an expression for IB like this. Now what about the collector current? If you know IB, IC is beta times IB. So multiply this expression by beta, you get IC equal to VCC by RE plus RB by beta. Okay, from this expression, you multiply this expression with beta, then divide by beta, you get an expression like this for the collector current. Okay, now you have to fix the operating point. So you got IC, next you have to find VCE. For that, write the loop equation for the output side. Output side you have VCC, then the resistance RC in the collector side. So VCC equal to IC RC plus VCE plus IE RE. If you want, I can show the circuit diagram once again. VCC equal to ICRC plus VCE plus IERE. From that expression, you get VCE equal to VCC minus RC plus RE into IC. You are again approximating IC to be equal to IE since base current is relatively small. So now that you have fixed the operating point, you have fixed the values of IC and VCE. But still you can see that circuit with emitter resistor is not used. It is not widely used because you can see that IC beta IB. You have this expression VCC by RE plus RB by beta. See, still you can see this beta term here. So the denominator will be independent of this beta only if RE is very much greater than RB by beta, isn't it? Otherwise, beta will still be there in the expression, or the collector current is going to have some dependence on beta. So this high value of RE, if you want this RE to be very high, this will cause voltage drop across it, isn't it? Large DC drop across it. So if such a large drop is there, you want to have a high value of VCC to counter that drop across RE, isn't it? So that is one disadvantage here. On the other hand, if you, instead of making this RE very large, if you are trying to make this RB low, you can either make RE very large than RB by beta, or if you are not changing the value of RE, you can decrease the value of RB. In that case, this RB, if it is decreased, then the base biasing voltage, that is VBB, we have made it equal to VCC by making this RB large. So if RB value is reduced, then you will have to remove the connection you gave to VCC, and you will have to make use of another low voltage supply in the base circuit. These alternatives to maintain this relation RE very much greater than RB by beta, in order to maintain this condition, to avoid the dependence on beta, you have to make these compromises. That is, you will require a high DC voltage source VCC, or if you want to choose the other way around, then you will need a low voltage supply in the base circuit. So both these alternatives are impractical. And that is why we are going for this most widely used biasing circuit, which is voltage divider bias. So here the biasing circuit is independent of beta parameter. And this is a voltage divider bias circuit. You can see resistances R1, R2 at the input, which forms the voltage divider circuit. And the base current IB is flowing through the base. RC is the resistance which is connected in the collector side, and RE in the emitter side. So this forms the input. VCC, this R1, R2 and RE forms the input side of the voltage divider bias circuit. Here you can see the input section of voltage divider biasing circuit. That is, the previous circuit is redrawn. Only the input section is taken. You can see VCC, R1, R2, and this current IB is flowing to the through the emitter. So, the IB is flowing into the circuit, and this represents the input resistance. So here you see Rin can be simplified and expressed as beta plus 1 RE. Why? Because IE is beta plus 1 times IB. So IE drop will be beta plus 1 IB RE. So this resistance, when you represent to the input side, it will be beta plus 1 times RE. Okay, as far as this IB is concerned. Now, we are going for an approximate analysis of this particular circuit. Assume that the base current IB is very small compared to the currents R1 and R2. That is, I1 and I2 are approximately equal and they are very much greater than IB. So this assumption is valid. Why? Because the resistance seen looking into the base Rin is much larger than R2. This Rin is equal to beta is a very large value, beta plus 1 times Re. So this is much larger than R2. Therefore, we can apply voltage divider theorem to find the voltage across R2, isn't it? The voltage across R2 is the base voltage, this voltage. Okay, voltage across R2, that is I2 R2. So that you are representing as VB, and that is equal to V2, and it is VCC into R2 by R1 plus R2. This is a voltage divider circuit. So VE will be equal to V2 minus VBE. What is VE? This voltage. Sorry. The emitter voltage will be V2 minus VBE. This V2 is the voltage across this R2. So here you see this is V2, the voltage across this R2. This is V2. This is V2. V2 minus VBE is the voltage across this emitter resistance, which is VE. This is VE is equal to V2 minus VBE. Alright. So the current in the emitter is, you can calculate the current in the emitter, IE will be VE by RE, or V2 minus VBE by RE. So the voltage in the collector measured with respect to ground VC equals supply voltage VCC minus voltage drop across RC. Which is this voltage VC? Again, I'll mark VC here. This voltage. This is VC. Okay. So this VC equal to VCC minus, in the output side, collector side, it is VCC minus IC RC. So VC equal to VCC minus IC RC. Then what about collector to emitter voltage? VCE. VCE is VC minus VE, or VCC minus IC RC minus IE RE. Simple KVL equations we are writing. So VCE is approximately equal to VCC minus IC. This IC is approximately equal to IE. Therefore, it is VCC minus RC plus RE into IC, which means now you have obtained IE and VC. Now we can calculate the DC bias voltages and currents for this circuit, assuming VB is equal to 0.3 volt and beta equal to 60. And this is the voltage divider biasing circuit. You can see a capacitor here. What will be the requirement of this capacitor? Why? Because here you have a resistance in the emitter side. So this emitter is common to both input and output. So the signal when you apply the AC signal, this can also offer a feedback. Okay, so so this effect of Re in the emitter circuit will be it will be affecting both the input and output. So here, in order to avoid that, so in order to bypass the AC signal to ground, you are connecting a capacitor here. Okay, so that this will come into effect at the quiescent condition or DC condition only. So the signal will not be affected if you connect a capacitor across this resistance here. Now, how will we do this problem? So here you are given VBE equal to 0.3 and beta equal to 60. What is VB here? VB is equal to V2. That is this voltage. This is VB, isn't it? Voltage across this 5 kilo ohm. So this is equal to R2 by R1 plus R2 into VCC, voltage divider. So what is R2? That is 5 kilo ohm. What is R1? 40 plus 5 into 10 raised to 3 into what is VCC? 12 volt. So you will get V2 as 1.3 volt. Now, what about the emitter voltage? We have to find the DC bias voltages here. So you got the base voltage. What about emitter voltage? VE, this voltage. Voltage across this point and ground. This is VE. What is VE? Is equal to V2 minus, this is the base to emitter voltage, VBE. V2 minus V, this is V2 minus VBE. V2 equal to VB. So you get, after substituting, you get it as 1 volt. 1.3 minus 0.3. What about the emitter current? Emitter current is a current through this RE. IE will be VE by RE. And you will get, it is VE is 1 volt, 1 by 1 kilo ohm, and you will get it as 1 milliampere. Okay, the collector voltage, you need to get VC also. You are asked to find the DC bias voltages. What about VC? VC equal to VCC minus IC RC. You can assume IC to be equal to IE, approximately equal to IE. If you make that assumption, here you will get 12 minus 1 milliampere into what is RC? 5 kilo ohm. And you will get VC as 7 volt. So finally, what is the collector to emitter voltage? The VCE. VCE will be, excuse me, this pointer is not working. Okay, so VCE will be equal to VC minus VE. This voltage you got, VC minus VE is VCE. So you get it as, on substitution, you will get it as 6 volt. So you have got the DC bias voltages, and currents also you got. IE you got, isn't it? And if the currents also it is asked, you can find IB. If you know IC, what is IB? IC is equal to beta times IB. Substitute and find out IB. Now we have discussed the approximate analysis. So if you go for the accurate analysis, you have to find the Thevenin equivalent of this particular voltage divider circuit. So Thevenin's theorem, you know, a complex network containing these resistors and voltage sources. If you take two terminals of this particular circuit, you can express the circuit as a combination of a voltage and an equivalent voltage and equivalent resistance, which is known as Thevenin's voltage and Thevenin's resistance. So you need to form a circuit, and it is a single loop circuit that you are going to form using Thevenin equivalent voltage and resistance across these two terminals A and B. Now, how will you find the Thevenin equivalent of this voltage divider by a circuit? So, this is a voltage divider by a circuit. You can see R1, R2, RC and RE here, and this is VCC. Okay, so what is the Thevenin equivalent? V Thevenin will be, you are going to represent across these terminals A and B. So, the Thevenin equivalent will be nothing but the base VB voltage and the equivalent resistance here. So you should find out R Thevenin and V Thevenin, or V Thevenin you can call it as VB itself. It is equal to R2 by R1 plus R2 into VCC. You can see this R1 R2 at the input side, and you can find out R Thevenin like this. R Thevenin means you have to find the Thevenin equivalent, you have to Thevenin equivalent resistance, you have to short circuit the source. If you short circuit VCC and draw the equivalent circuit, you will see that this R1 is parallel to R2. If R1 is parallel to R2, then R Thevenin will be across these two terminals A, B. That is, you are sourcing this voltage, VC is shorting this source, and then finding the equivalent R Thevenin. So that you will get it as R1 R2 by R1 plus R2, since R1 is parallel to R2. So this you can call it as RB also, because some textbooks uses this notation RB for R Thevenin, because ultimately you are representing the base side using this V Thevenin and R Thevenin. Okay, so you have found out the Thevenin equivalent. Now if you write the loop equation for input side referring to this particular circuit, V Thevenin, R Thevenin, VBE and IERE you have in the input side. This is one loop. So for this loop, if you write the equation as shown here, you will get V Thevenin equal to IB into R Thevenin plus VBE plus REIE. Sorry, IERE. So this V Thevenin, you are substituting for IE as beta plus 1 IB, and rearranging, you get IB as V Thevenin minus VBE by R Thevenin plus beta plus 1 RE, or V Thevenin by R Thevenin plus beta RE. So once the base current is fixed, the collector current can be calculated as IC is equal to beta times IB. The collector to base emitter voltage is then found by a similar equation here. VCE equal to VCC minus IC into RC plus RB. Okay. Now you can use Thevenin's theorem to find accurate values of collector current and collector to emitter voltage here for this particular example. This is the same diagram which we discussed for question number 1. So if you find out the Thevenin equivalent voltage, this V Thevenin will be equal to VCC into R2 divided by R1 plus R2. Okay, so V Thevenin, if you substitute the values of R2, R1 and VCC, you will get it finally as 1.3 volt. And R Thevenin is equal to R1 R2 by R1 plus R2. So you will, on substitution, you will get the value of R Thevenin as 4.44 kilo ohm. Okay, now the Thevenin equivalent will be like this. You have a 1.3 volt here, and you have 4.4 kilo ohm here, and you have transistor, and this is 5K, and this is 1K. Now this is the Thevenin equivalent, and this is 12, and this value is 1K. Okay, so from this you can find out the base current IB. IB expression is V Thevenin minus VBE divided by R Thevenin plus beta times RE. Okay. So on substituting these values, you will get it as 15.52 microampere. The collector current will be beta times IB. IC is beta IB, and that is equal to 0.93 milliampere. Substitute and you will get it. So the collector to emitter voltage VCE will be VCC minus RC plus RE into IC. Or again you substitute the values, you will get it as 6.42 volt. So if you compare the value which you obtained in the previous problem you got VCE as 6 volt. Here you are getting it as 6.42 volt. So the error here is around within 7% only. So the approximations you have made, the approximate analysis is sufficient. It is reasonable because there is only 7% difference here. So with this, I am stopping the discussion on voltage divider. So this is the Thevenin equivalent circuit which I have just drawn here. Discussion on the voltage divider biasing circuit, and we'll discuss the concept of stability factor in the next lecture. Thank you.